Hi, I'm Deborah Morton with Clario Real Estate.
And this is Rich Seglovich with Space and Town Realtors.
John Anderson, also with Space and Town Realtors.
I'm Judy Jernigan with Sage and Grace Realty Group.
Atlanta Hartsfield.
Yes, the airport's more efficient than the highways that lead to it.
Oh, for sure. It's true.
I love it. I love our airport. Everywhere I've traveled, okay, I'm not a heavy international traveler, but our airport is so organized, efficient, and easy to get through.
Yeah, it really is.
And if you're not, set on driving,
To get there.
I love that our MARTA goes right into our airport and ends there. Not every city is that way, so yeah, it can be very easy to get into as well. But
We always MARTA. My mom comes to visit. She's 80 years old. Sorry, Mom. I go meet her at the airport, and I take her to the airport, but we use the MARTA to get there
Really?
and get back. We do.
So
It's
I'm from the burbs.
It's faster and easier than driving.
I drive in and out, but the off-airport parking options at Atlanta on Camp Creek are phenomenal. So, I mean, for the distance I live and where I'm coming from,
Right.
I have no complaints because every family member I have is in a different state. So I've been in lots of their airports, and I don't care how long
Yeah, none
the
of
security lines are in Atlanta, it moves fast.
It does.
Yeah,
They do
pretty
move
fast.
quickly.
It's like there's an engineer behind the queues. It's kind of fascinating.
And if you're TSA or now digital, the lines are a lot.
The TSA pre-check.
Yeah, TSA pre-check or digital ID, those lines are even shorter, and they've got their own specific area that you can go through. So if you know the ins and outs of the airport, it's even better.
If you have a wheelchair or a stroller, it's also even easier.
Oh, that's a good tip. I'll bring a stroller. I'll bring a stroller next time.
so you're going to have somebody roll you in a stroller?
But my mom does have trouble walking really long distances, so she'll get just the airport wheelchair, and they make it super easy for her.
Hi, I'm Leslie Johnson, and I am the broker for these amazing agents at Clario, and I'm so excited to be here with them.
We're glad to have you, Leslie. Thank you for joining us today.
Of course. I would like to say what a pleasure it is to work with such really great agents.
I know. We make
Because-
your life better.
Yes.
So I just came from a board of realtors meeting because, there's lots of news right now.
Yes.
So I thought I would be a good time to jump in and hear what the leadership in the Georgia Association of Realtors and our local boards have to say on what's going on in the marketplace. And it's good to stay informed. And you're right, many agents have no clue what's going on in our industry. So
Right.
thank you for keeping us
Of
up to
course.
date.
I do my best.
Anything you want to throw in there for us about it?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the lawsuit, the trial that is currently going on in...
Or the one that's coming, yes.
Or the one that's coming there,
Yes.
and the Justice Department. So NAR's leadership is very optimistic about it, but I mean, you just never know how something's going to go. And I think that there is the potential for some real changes in our industry, which we've already seen a lot of those happen.
Yes.
I don't know that consumers are aware and have noticed this, but for instance, most MLSs are now publishing what the seller is paying toward the buyer's agent's compensation. And we're having those conversations much more in advance.
Which is interesting because we already have. Like, we have been doing this for years, so there's no fundamental changes to what we have coming in our work from that regard.
We, meaning you at Clario?
Meaning at Clario Real Estate, at
Very well.
Space and Town Realtors, and Sage and Grace. Transparency and honesty about how we operate have always been core values.
As I said earlier, I love working with you. I think I started to say this and I stopped myself, which is unusual. But one thing about this trial that gives me a little bit of concern is the kind of the misperception, I think, about real estate agents. the way we're portrayed a lot of times in the media, or someone has a negative story that they like to tell. The reality is that the vast majority, well, I hope, the majority of the ones who get in the business to be in the to not be a hobbyist, but who are professionals and who stay in the business are really good. And almost all of us have our clients' interests really at heart. But
That's every industry. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
And
but
you're right.
Every industry is going to have people.
every
who-
industry
Gonna have
has
bad apples.
well, and also, I mean, it's the way we like bad stories make good stories, right? Like, you know, when you're going to have your wisdom teeth out and everybody you know is like, oh, I had a cousin who has their wisdom teeth out.
I
and
ride
they had to have their
motorcycles. I'm
whole
sorry.
head amputated.
When you ride
know?
motorcycles, there's nobody that doesn't have a horror story.
Right.
So anytime they find out, oh, you ride motorcycles. Well, I had a friend.
Exactly.
Okay.
I mean, how many people ride miles and miles and miles and years on motorcycles and it's fine? But that being said, no matter what your skill level, I think most people are in this to help their clients, the vast majority. But our industry had a system where we didn't necessarily have to discuss it, and now we are going to be having that conversation much more directly and specifically.
I find that refreshing.
Yeah,
Don't
I think
y'all?
it's-
I have it the first time I meet clients. Usually, we have that conversation. The first time we meet face to face.
And you should.
It's been a standard part of our buyer consultation process and our listing process the whole time. So it is interesting, but it's also, you sound surprised that the public doesn't care for real estate agents.
Well, I am.
I love that
Look,
about you.
I just want to, I mean, let me just tell you my why here. We have the opportunity to do so. I mean, we are helping people with the most important, biggest transaction, financial transaction most people will ever make. And it's not like your Home Depot stock or your Coca-Cola stock. You don't have to sleep in those at night. You don't have to wake up. So not only is it the number one way across the world for people to build generational wealth, that's not for you, that's for you and your children and maybe your grandchildren, then home ownership. But it is also the place where your children go to sleep at night and you want them to feel safe. It's where you wake up in the morning and you're ready to go to work. It impacts every part of your life. And if you're happy in your home and you feel safe and comfortable in your home, your life is obviously so much better than someone who is insecure about that. And so the impact that we have on all the people we serve and talk with, it's just astounding. And yes, everyone's smiling and a little giggly because I get
it's
very
really
excited
important.
about this. It's so important.
You're the best spokesman for our industry.
Well, you know, this is not a house. We've known a lot of people who got in this because of finance or because of real estate. This is not a real estate business. This is a people business. If you want real estate, you need to go work in commercial or be a developer. But because this is about people and about their lives and their finances and their future. And I see that in practically everyone I run into.
I don't know if this is an old statistic, but I remember at one time at least, 83% of people who had bought a home from a realtor said they would use the same realtor again. Of course, they forget who they are over 7 years, but nonetheless, the point is they clearly had value to add, and brought that to that transaction for that family.
You contrast it with countries where people don't have the opportunity for home ownership,
Right.
and the poverty levels are high and they stay high generation after generation. To me, it's one of the fundamental principles of being an American is the right to home ownership. Property rights are paramount importance, and we want to make sure that it stays that way.
Absolutely.
But because we've always operated that way, the panic from the news media, amongst other agents, particularly right now, and who knows how it'll be spun out after the lawsuits are settled. But I mean, we know we're not bad guys. And
Oh yeah.
I sleep well at night, happy with how I help people.